YouTube, get the screen shared here so you guys can see what I'm up to on this side. And we should be live on YouTube. There's always this lag. You can see it on the screen here. I never know if it's actually streaming yet. And we'll pause it. If you are watching this replay on YouTube, please do make sure you smash, oh, there I am. Make sure you smash the like button. I will make sure that I change my virtual background to be something more appropriate to this specific endeavor. There we go. Yeah, let's get going. So what I was hoping to talk about today on today's next level session plus Q&A is custom open house registration forms. We do have our open house tool, but I hear some requests. I heard one from Tracy here on the screen about customizing hers. Before we get into that, just do want to remind everybody, in case this is the first time you're here, that we do have our training calendar and that these sessions do occur Monday through Thursday, not tomorrow because tomorrow's Thanksgiving, but they occur every week, Monday through Thursday. You can always access the links to this training and all our other ones from the main dashboard of KV Core up at the top right of the dashboard. You just pick your time zone and you can hop on in. So definitely share this information with your team. The more people at your team who are plugged in at your office to this kind of stuff, the better it is for everybody. They'll get ideas, you'll get ideas if you can't make it one day, and it's just really good in general to be doing this stuff. And these particular sessions, you're generally going to find somebody like me or Heather who's on today, or some of our other trainers. We're going to get a little next level and a little bit geeky with what we're doing. This isn't the basics stuff in most cases, and if you want the basics, those sessions do occur. The core quick start sessions do occur at 1 p.m. East, 10 a.m. Pacific, Monday through Thursday as well. All right, housekeeping's out of the way, Heather.
Yay.
So if you guys have any questions as I go along, just chat in. Heather will help moderate. And I'm just going to kind of take a look here on the screen at this Google form. And that is what you're looking at in case you've never built one. You have the ability to go into Google Forms. So you go to drive.google.com and you can click New here and New Google Form, like so. And you can pretty much build any form you want, and you can tie the information collected into KV Core if you want to. So in this particular example, we're going to build a custom open house registration form, but just keep in mind, you could use this any way you want. You know, if you want to generate, create yourself a seller leads form or a specific niche buyer leads form, you can use Google Forms to do that. And one of the big reasons you might do this is to get more flexibility with respect to the fields that you can gather and questions you can answer up front than you might get from our regular landing pages. So if we go into KV Core, just as a reminder, you can always go to a lead engine and you can build nifty little landing pages. And in most cases, they're good enough. We have these different templates. You can do address only capture. But if you want to get a little more specific, as Tracy did here with her open house registration and collect more data, Google Forms is an option. So let's look at Tracy's form first, and I'll kind of walk through how this was created. Pretty simple, and just kind of point out some of the nuances. So the first thing we did was we gave it a title up here. So we have the question section, give a little instruction in our subhead. So it says open house registration. Please register to get your digital flyer and updates about price changes and the final selling price. So what Tracy is doing, and the reason she came to me, she said she likes to get people to send a text code in order to get more information about the open house. So she actually has them send a text code first so she gets their phone number, Heather. It's pretty interesting. And then she sends in the text code response, she sends this. So I'm not going to show you that in her account. We got time. Maybe I will. You guys want to give me a second to show the text code side of things? It's a good idea, Heather.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let me just get into Tracy's account in the right window. So she's getting a little more involved here, but I like her thinking because she's saying, hey, I want to get this phone number. That's the most important thing. And then if I can gather this other information afterwards, that's extra. But if I get the phone number, there's a lot I can do with that. So let's show you the text code that she has. And it might give a little more context on how the open house form plays into this. So I'm just opening her account in another window here. That's why you guys don't see anything happening on the screen. So, And now I can pull it over here. Okay. My dog's bark collar is working really good. Do you hear the beeping? She's trying to bark right now. Maybe you guys don't hear it. It's awesome. She usually barks when I get on a webinar, but she can't now. So stop it. All right. So let's go to the lead engine right here. We go call and text capture code right here. And then her code, I think, is OH, is the one she created. And it says, hi, thanks for stopping by. Click to get the digital flyer and pricing about this house. Let me know if you have any questions. And I thought she must have changed this after her last open. But when we set this up a few days ago, maybe I think she had a second open house. That might be why she changed it. But we were giving the link to the actual open house form for them to fill out. She was getting leads through that. So that's the setup. You create a new code. Hi, thanks for requesting information about the listing. And then you give the link to the Google form. The way to generate the Google form link, just so you know, is up here. I'm going to poke around a little. Might take me a second to find it. Settings.
It's actually,
You
if you
know
go
where
to
it is?
if you go to the eyeball, I believe,
Yeah, maybe.
and then the link is up at that's the link
Yeah, so what
there. But you can do a shortened one too.
Yep.
I believe if you hit send.
That's what it was. I found this yesterday.
Yeah.
Yep. So if you click send, you can actually send it to somebody. And as Heather's saying here, you can shorten a URL, which makes it a lot friendlier for the text response code, because it's going to take up less space when you text it. So that's where it is. You click send up there. So that's the scenario. Tracy was kind of having people text first, and then she's kind of going through this open house flow. Now, you can do this without the text part, and that's not really the most important thing that I wanted to share today. I more wanted to show that you can build these custom forms and integrate them with kvCORE and show how to integrate them with kvCORE. So she's got our open house registration. We added an image field. So you see here where it says add image, where I'm hovering on the right side. And she just put her kind of logo there. Top. And then she went through and started just adding some questions. So how did you find us today? Are you currently working with an agent? Would you like a free detailed list power analysis that shows what your house might be worth in today's market? If yes, enter address. And then there's a second section here where she gets the name and the email. And one thing that I want to mention is you see where it says your email for updates about pricing changes and the final selling price of this property. You always want to, if possible, give a reason why somebody's going to give you the thing you want. So I try to add little snippets like this. It's like, okay, well, why do you want my email? Oh, because I'm going to update you when the price of this open house changes and let you know the final selling price. So, you know, that would be a bigger reason why they would give you that information.
The other thing, can I just say real quick, is you can set your Google form up to automatically pull in people's emails. You know, whatever email they're logged into on their phone or their computer, it can pull that in automatically.
Oh,
for you.
Is that the collect emails option?
Yes, it is.
Because I didn't use that, but I wondered about it. Okay, so
yeah. So if you go back, I believe it's in questions.
Okay.
You just add a question, and I think it says you can collect emails. I'm trying to remember.
There was a section the other day. It's a little fresher for me that it's actually in the settings section. That's why I was trying to go there, where it asks.
It might be up there. Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna drive you nuts. See this right here?
There it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Collect email addresses.
Yeah, and if you do that, I assume that means it's gonna collect the logged in email if they're logged into Google.
Can you, Tom asked if we can zoom out. I'm not sure what he means by that.
Zoom out of, is the screen too big or small? Is zooming out.
Like that? I don't know.
I don't want to mess up Tracy's form, so I am going to switch to this new untitled one over here. We'll play with that. So if I go to settings again, and I go to responses, I can tell it to automatically collect addresses. And what it does is it adds the email question up toward the top, I believe.
Yeah, so it doesn't add an email. So if you go back to questions,
Mhm.
it doesn't add them. It doesn't add it, but if you look at the eyeball, I believe you can see what happens is it'll have see where it says Ryan Hartman, this is your email. Your email will be recorded when you submit this form. So it's like, you don't even have to type it in. It's already there. It's pulled in for you.
But it'll put a field there if they're not logged in, right?
I don't know the answer to that. I think to open a Google form, you have to be logged into something.
Yeah, there's a setting that you can share it with people. See how it says require sign in? So if I uncheck this restrict to users, this is kind of our Google Workspace settings.
Yeah.
Corporate. I'm pretty sure I can then go to the, because she's sharing it with people who aren't using Google.
Right.
No.
Yeah. But it'll pull in anything. I mean, even if it's not a Google email, it'll pull in AOL emails. It'll pull in anything. I don't know how it does it. Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. That's why I always just do that instead of asking for the email, because it just pulls it in and they just people just go for it. It's not usually a deterrent, I don't feel like.
That might make me start using this for everything. Now that I think about it, I mean, that increases your sign up rates drastically.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I always do that instead of asking for an email. I always just ask it to collect.
Cool.
Because that's the other thing, they can't put in a fake email then. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So if I click change status, allow response editing. Okay. A few other things I just want to point out, and just some of this might seem basic, guys, but if we click add question, there's a few different types you can do. You can do multiple choice, check boxes. Basically, the difference there is a checkbox will allow multiple options to be checked versus the multiple choice. I think they can only choose one. Is that right, Heather?
That is correct.
Yeah. And then you can do a drop down. I feel like on mobile phones, the multiple choice and check boxes are better, that's just kind of a personal feeling. You put dates and times on there. But one thing I wanted to point out to you guys that I thought was very cool is that you can add sections and then you can do conditionals. So if I click a section here, and let's say up here, I said, are you just curious? Change this to multiple choice. Just curious, do you currently own a home? Currently own a home in the area, right? So you could even do it like that. You could come out of town and say, yes, I'm a local homeowner. Yes, but I don't. Or just say, no, I'm a renter. We'll just leave it, make it simpler. And then this add other, we don't really need here. But what's cool is that you can say, after section 1, trying to remember, Heather, these conditions. I just did this yesterday. Okay, here it is. If you click the little 3 dots right here, you can switch to a section based on the answer.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. So if I say, hey, if they're a homeowner, we'll take them to section 1. But if they're a renter, I'll take them to, say, section 3. If I had another section. And then in section 2, I can say, cool, great, what's your address? We'll send you detailed represent. You guys get what I'm saying. We'll send you a detailed CMA, but we would use core present for that, right? And then they would put their address in. Okay, cool. So lots you can do here. You can mess with the design. So up top, you can do customized theme. You can change the color theme here. These are going to display real nice on mobile. They're going to respond really nice. It's a Google product. You can choose header images if you want, or upload your own. So
yeah, you can upload a picture of the house if you want to. Just know that it's very thin and long. So if you do like a regular picture of the house, it's probably gonna cut it off. So you want to make sure that your pixel size is correct.
Yeah.
I think
So,
Look it up here.
are you looking
Yeah,
at the
it's
size?
1600 by 400 is your pixel size. If you were to make like in Canva, if you were to make a picture for your header, that's what it would be.
Cool. So yeah, pretty straight up form generator. I like the conditionals, lots of options. It's Google, it's easy to use, it's easy to share with people. It automatically collects emails. I think that's really neat. Yeah, so once you've got this thing built and you click the send button and generate yourself the URL, you do that. You can also embed. Heather, have you ever tried putting one of these in a KV Core custom page?
I have not.
It should work. It's just an iframe. You guys mind? I'm going to take just a real quick second to embed one of these on a test page. I'm going to go to Web and IDX, Website Manager. Sorry, website content. Is going on? I think I confused. I think I broke the world because I'm logged into 2 accounts. That's what I did. Here we go.
Yeah, I've only ever put them in the like a button link or something, but I've not tried to embed before.
Yeah, so if I go to site content, custom pages, new page, test form embed. There might be cases where you want to do this. And then if we use the little script source code thing right here, let's save. I bet you it'll work. Yeah, it should work. So if you want it to be a URL that's on your KV Core site, you know, you could do it that way. And just embed it in a page, and it embeds nice and pretty there. Another possible, a couple other uses for this then would be like a new buyer questionnaire, you know, a new seller lead. They opt in to say get a list of properties, or they opt into a property boost, and you have a smart campaign that sends them, hey, thanks for checking out that property. If you're thinking about buying soon, please fill out this form, and I'll, you know, tell you about your financing options or something like that. You can do like a buyer questionnaire. It's probably a topic for another webinar, that specific idea.
And you could also use, if you have Course Social, you can do a QR code, you know, at your open house where they could just scan it and get it sent to them. If you don't, you'd have to use like a regular QR code generator, but that would be an easy way to have people sign in. It's just they scan it, they get the sign in, and they can do it that way. That's
the other thing Tracy was doing too. She has at the open house, yes, a scan QR, and that's where this all kind of started. Was our open house app doesn't have a link attached to it because it's an app. So she couldn't have somebody scan to get to the form, basically to sign in. So I do think that is something that has been mentioned to the product team. And I think it was a, yes, we can get to that eventually kind of answer. I don't know the ETA, but we might be able to have our open house app, you know, be on a web URL, but we're still probably never going to get to the point where you have this flexibility to add all these different fields if you want to. Cool, so you can embed it. So we've got our form, and then the next step is going to be to integrate this with KV Core, and that's where our friend, who's our friend, Heather, is going to come into play. I think you've talked about this. You were doing some Zapier stuff the other day.
Zapier?
Right? Yeah, our friend Zapier. So Zapier, which you guys may or may not know about, is basically a connector app that connects different apps to each other, and KV Core has a tie-in to Zapier that you can use. So you can basically take responses to your form and push it into KV Core. As I look at this Zap here, and I'm going to walk through it, I am being reminded that it is actually, the Zap is actually going to use the spreadsheet that's attached to the form, not the direct form. And I did notice the other, Heather, that you can either do a new spreadsheet from a Google Sheet, or you can choose Google Forms, either way, but it kind of does the same thing. It makes you create this spreadsheet. Mm-hmm. So let's kind of walk back with our demo form here, and we'll kind of do this from the start. So we have our form here.
Maybe you want to put a name in the form because it'll be easier to put in.
True. So question, short answer. Yeah, just so we have another field. And I do,
And even phone number, I think, is a good one too. And you don't have to make the phone number. So the other thing about the forms is you can make a answer required or not required. So, I would make maybe the name be required, maybe the first name be required, but I wouldn't make the phone number be required necessarily, because I think you'll get a lot of maybe not true phone numbers, but if people do put in their phone number, at least you have it to zap over.
Yeah. And then an important step is going to be to go up to responses here, and you do need to click this little create spreadsheet in order to be able to zap the responses. So what the form will do is it'll put stuff automatically on this spreadsheet. So I'll just call this demo form. It'll kind of open it up here. And then anytime there's a response, it'll go in. I think from the other day when I was wiring this up for Tracy, I do think it is probably a good idea to just submit a test response for yourself.
Yeah.
So we'll do that here. So that'll be the step.
I almost think you have to. I think it won't pull it in otherwise.
Yeah, that might be why I did it. So we'll just do a test response.
So just FYI, you don't have to put that email in there.
Okay, it'll just be there. Okay. Or
you required it. You did it twice, is what you did.
Right.
So in your form, I wouldn't ask for an email if you're collecting emails, just FYI.
Okay. Okay. Yes, I'm a local homeowner. And then when I hit next, see here, it does the address. Okay. Submit. Oh, the other thing that we didn't mention is that you can put a thank you message here. So going back to the form. This is all kind of stuff you learn as you do this the first time, but you can put right. Always got to remember where this goes. Collect email addresses. Questions required. Where do we put our thank you? No, it's in here. Isn't that funny? I thought it was right in the settings.
It is select the settings gear icon presentation tab. Confirmation message.
That's weird, isn't it? Sorry, guys. It's usually right here. I'm pretty sure. If I go to settings on. Presentation. There it is. Whew. Some of you guys must be getting driven nuts right now. I know that Google, it like looks nice to have this drop down and it looks cleaner, but I would rather it was just expanded by default, because you have to remember to click this little caret here. So here it is, confirmation message after submit, and then you can say, great, click here to see a full flyer on this property, something like that. And then you can put a link right here that they can click. So that's the confirmation message. So we submitted our response, right? Yep, we did. Has been recorded. And now we're ready to build the Zap. So we'll build our Zapier Zap here. Create a Zap. And I don't think you need the premium Zapier to do this. Yeah, so Google Forms or Google Sheets is a free app, so this shouldn't cost you anything extra. You can get like 100 submissions a month, I think. So we'll do demo, Zap, webinar. So our app event, this is going to be the trigger. We can either choose Google Sheets or we can choose Google Forms. I'll just choose Google Forms. And then it says here, new response in spreadsheet. You could also do an updated response. There are situations where that might be useful if you have people filling out the form multiple times. But we'll do new. And then the next thing I'll have you do is sign into Google Forms. So this should be pretty painless. You'll just if you're signed into Google, you'll just click your Google account and then it'll look for it. link it up. Our trigger is going to be that spreadsheet. In theory, that spreadsheet should be right up top, the demo form. And then it'll be the first worksheet, the form responses worksheet. So we'll click test trigger, and what it should do is grab that latest form response that I submitted right here as a demo. So we can see the data kind of piles in right there. Oh, sorry, you're watching the chats. I haven't been watching.
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then our action is going to be KV Core. So KV Core will now show up. It was used to be you had to do something manual, but it'll actually show up in the library here. You click KV Core. We're going to click to create a contact. You can also update the contact if you're, say, you're sending this to existing people. We'll create a contact. And then it's going to ask you to connect your KV Core account. So what you're going to do is you're going to click connect new account, and it's going to ask you in this pop-up here for your Zapier key. Your Zapier key can be found under lead engine, lead Dropbox page in KV Core. So where that is right here. We go to lead engine and then lead Dropbox is up here. Either just so you know, and everybody else, the lead Dropbox is also going to appear down here too. Yeah, I know it's crazy, but I just put a request in and hopefully it'll show pretty soon. And then you're going to grab your Zapier key. Just a note for those of you who are, office managers or doing this from the company level, and you're routing leads to multiple agents, just be careful to pick the office key. You'll see 3 options. In this case, we're going to pick the local agent key. We'll copy that there, and we plug it in, and it'll tie up your account to Zapier. Now, I'm not going to do that because we've already done that step here, this particular account, and I can just choose the existing account. And once you've done this once, you don't need to do it every time. All right, so I'll just go to Ryan's KV Core, and it'll just be there. You don't have to take that step every time. You just do it the first time you set up a Zap. And then the next thing we do with any Zap is we just click into different name fields. So I'll click in first name here. I'll click first name. My lead type, I don't know, buyer and seller. I'll put my last name right here. I'll just kind of walk through. It collected the email address for email. I don't think we did phone. Oh, yeah, we did. I'm just forgetting. So phone. And you kind of walk through. We could put the name of our form, open house form. That'll inject the data if we want it to. Source, I can put open house. The source is important because you can use this to trigger campaigns. If you want, you can put interested city, you can put these details in. I think, Heather, it'll automatically set up property alerts. Just kind of.
Yes, so either way, you can do a city and a price and it will set up a property alert. Or if you're doing for an open house and you put the MLS number of the open house, it will set up an alert based on that. And it will also show that MLS number as a property that they have looked at in KV Core.
It's pretty cool. So you guys, you can put the MLS in there. Now,
just one thing I want to make real clear about doing this, because we've run into this before. If you are running a team and the MLS number belongs to someone on your team, KV Core, if there's a setting in KV Core where if you don't override it, the lead is automatically going to be going to that agent instead of round robining to your team. So you have to be really careful with that MLS number and that setting in KV Core, and make sure that you have to have the setting turned off for it to be able to round robin, or if it's turned on, it's going to go directly to that person. So I always say, if it's you, just you, totally put it in. If it's your team, you might want to not put it in and just use city and price.
Cool. Really good point. Yeah. And I'll mention everybody, if you're going to be using the same form over and over for different open houses, remember, you're going to have to come in here and edit the Zap every time. I probably wouldn't recreate the form for each open house, but just keep that in mind too. I guess you can clone the forms in Google pretty quickly though. You can build a new Zap if you wanted to.
You can clone the form. Yeah, I would definitely actually do that, just because you'd want to know what open house they were at.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I would change the name of the form and then come change the Zap, assuming I'm only doing one open house at a time. But you can do it either way. Yeah, clone the form is fine. Then you have to just clone the Zap and build another Zap.
Mm-hmm.
So again, guys, little advanced, little extra work, but there are cases where you want to do this stuff. For the primary address, I'm going to embed, if they gave me their address here, because they want a detailed CMA. And then note, I can type in, came to the open house. That's Main Street, whatever you want to attack, mention what property it was for. And then tags, maybe I do open house. 123 Main, something like that. I think we need the pipes, right? Yeah, we
We
need.
do, but you need, that's the other problem. Don't put a space in between the piping and the name and the.
So it needs to say that here, right?
Well, yes, I guess.
It needs to say don't leave a space.
Right. Just like when you're doing like the import form as well, the piping, you can't leave a space or it won't work.
Okay. So if you want multiple tags, guys, that's what you do. If you just want one hashtag, you can just do one. But once we kind of can click continue, it's taking a minute here. In theory, if I click test and continue, if that was the correct KV Core account that was connected here, it should show up in my KV Core account now. And then after you test it, you click turn on, and then you just go look in KV Core and make sure it came in. So, and then from there, in Tracy's case, we did build a little open house smart campaign. We attached that zip code to one of her to her open house campaign. So they start getting emails and other communications a few hours later, which you might want to do for all your open houses. But yeah, custom forms, again, open houses, buyer intake surveys, tell me what you're looking for. If you want to use this for seller lead generation, I think it could be pretty powerful. If you want to build a custom, home valuation form. If you do a custom home valuation form, I think most KV Core people, I think you can override the sell page, can't you? I'm gonna get myself.
I don't think so.
You can override the recruiting page. Maybe that's an admin setting. It might be an admin setting where you can, instead of using if you're the site.
If you doesn't override the page, you have to make a custom page and name the page sell and put that in your navigation and take the sell page out of your navigation.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's not go down that rabbit hole. It's kind of possible. But
doable.
Yeah, it's doable. So that was the main content. Just for an idea, guys, you have the ability. KV Core is pretty integratable with lots of different stuff. Google Forms is just one example. Type forms is one I use a lot. Cognito Forms, just any form solution, any modern one could probably be integrated with KV Core. I zoom out. So cool. Any other questions, guys, or feedback on this? If not, we can move on. If you have any other general questions, things you want me and Heather to look at today, we can do that as well.
Yeah, there's a Q&A button at the bottom. You can put your questions there and we can answer them.
And if not, we'll let everybody kind of have a good Thanksgiving. We can get going. I was surprised even all you guys showed up today, so thank you for coming. Do you think you'll use this? Give us some feedback. Do you think you'll use this approach? You also got a little bit of training today about Zapier in general, so just keep it in the back of your head. Anytime you're trying to integrate something third party with KV Core, Zapier is probably one of the first places to look to see if you can tie it in that way. And it's always a similar flow to what you just saw us do. Well, cool. Heather, I'm on the East Coast, so this is it. I'm gonna go have a happy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go make some cheesecake.
Cool. Yeah. Everybody have a great holiday. We'll be back Monday at 1 p.m. East for the Q&A, the quick start session, and 4 p.m. for this session again. And the replay of this is instantly available on YouTube right now, the Inside Real Estate YouTube channel. All right, see you guys later.
Bye, everybody.